We're on Daf Samach Beis Amud Aleph, 62a, 3 lines in from the top of the page. Haid Rabbi Yosi ben Hamashulam, Mishum Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yosi ben Hamashulam testified in the name Rabbi Yechanan. Achiv, Mishum Rabbi Yechanan, Achiv Sham, Mishum Loz ben Chisma. Sorry. The name Rabbi Yechanan, his brother, who said the name Loz ben Chisma. You don't make an amoritz that he tells a gabel, a person who deals with dough. No, I'm not. He tells a gabel who's a chaver, a person who's on the high level of keeping tum and tara. Take a challah from my dough and do it betara. You don't listen to him because the whole dough, we can assume the dough is already tummy. The amoritz is not going to keep tum and tara. The kohen is going to rely on the fact that there's a gabel who's a chaver. The person who's needing it is a chaver, and he's going to think that the challah is tar and it's going to give Maris ayin. So therefore, don't do that. Don't be megabel. Don't be megabel chalas amaretz, because you can assume the isa is tummy. However, if you're making the isa mehas challah, if you're making the dough from the very beginning, you could do it betara. Then what do you do with the challah? To make sure he doesn't touch it, you put it in a separate kli.
No, do not try it. No.
You put it in a separate kli, which is not a normal place to put dough, and it's not makabel tuma. So therefore, it'll be okay. And when the Amaretz is going to take his dough, he takes both of them. We're not worried that the Amaretz is going to touch the challah b'metamet, because it's already in a separate kli. The Gemara will talk about it. If he put it in the Beis Habad, if he put his olives into the olive press, those who are chavedim, who deal with this type of thing, are not going to take truma betara, because we'll say that it already became tumah. The zaysim already berhuchshar with the mayim, with water, and they're already mekabel tuma. And a kohen is going to be seimach that they were mafresh the truma betara. However, he couldn't milchatchila put the zaysim from the very beginning into the olive press, and then separate truma manicha bekelev shel chaver and put it in his own kelim. When the Amaretz is going to come, he's going to take both of them. But in a you don't have to worry that he's going to touch the truma. He's going to touch it to be metamet. The time of what's the reason why we're lenient with truma? Maybe he's going to touch the truma. He's going to touch the chaver. And for the Gemara, in order to allow them to make a living, these people do that as a parnosa. The person who's dealing with the dough, the person is dealing with the olives. Now, why do we need to say it in both cases? A person dealing with dough and olives, who makes more money, the olive presser or the person dealing with dough? The gabel or the badot? What do you guys think?
The olive.
Yeah, that's right. Diash meaning gabel. If we're going to say gabel, he doesn't make a lot of money, so we have to make sure that he has a living. But the person dealing with the olives that makes more of a living, maybe will not be matter because he can make a living without this. The badad is not as often; it's only in the season. But the gabel, it's more common for him to find work. Maybe not. We need to say that in both cases it's allowed. Okay. So the Gemara said, he puts it in this type of kli that's not makabel tumah, doesn't receive tumah. When the Amaretz takes it, he can take it, and we're not worried that he's going to touch it. But why are we not worried that he might touch it? We tell him, if you're going to touch it, you tell him it's going to become tevel again. It's going to be considered untied. He's tumah, but he doesn't care about causing the tumah to be tamei, but he cares about tevel. And he doesn't know the dinim, so you make it up. You tell him that it's going to turn into tevel. Doesn't sound nice, but anyway. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he's not going to care. And for the Gemara, and he's hiring the gabel to do it for him. He's not going to care. Of course he cares. So therefore, he's not going to touch it. So if you warn him not to touch it, otherwise it'll turn back into tevel. He's not going to touch it. Amar Mar. You take the truma from the olives and you put it in your own kelim. He's going to take both of them. When he comes, he'll take both of them. We don't have to worry that he's going to touch it. So we ask again, maybe he's going to touch it. He's like, okay, no, mail over there, there's a hecker. It's a special type of kli that you don't put dough in. However, what's the hecker over here? How is he going to know not to touch it? You put in special kelim, but not mekabel tumah. That even if he touches the kli, it's not going to be mekabel tumah.
Sorry, David, I'm coming in late. Where are you?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're basically up to 2 dots in the middle of Samach Beis Amud Aleph.
Thank you.
I'm just getting up to there. I'm like 2-3 lines in there. Why does it have to be the kalim of the chaver? Be the kalim of the amaretz. It could be his utensils. If we're talking about special utensils, that there's a hacker that he's going to know not to touch the olives that are separated already for truma. We're talking about the kalim of amaretz that a chaver could use, because a chaver would generally try to use kalim that are not makabel tumah, like made out of stone, and so on. Yes, we're up to 2 dots. You have the place?
Machzikin Yidei Akum?
Yeah, Machzikin Yidei Akum b'shvis. We help the Akum, and we help a guy during the Shemitah year. Frag the Gemara, Machzikin, tell me you help a guy during the Shemitah year of Amar Avdimi by Sisno. Shmei the Rav, ein oidrin am Aretz, ein oidrin im Akum b'shvis. We don't help him to dig around during the Shemitah year. We don't say shalom twice, more than necessary. And for the Gemara, you don't actually help him. You say achzuku, which means like straight. The worker hand should be strong. Which is in Aramaic. You don't you don't say shalom twice. Rav Chisda makdim v'yov le'shalmo. Rav Kana omer le'shalmo l'mar. Rav Chisda would be makdim and give them shalim, and Rav Kana would say shalom l'mar. According to Rashi, his kavanah was for the Hakadosh Baruch. Says Tosfos l'chayda, it's a problem. Very interesting. Tosfos says tzarchi and shalev is a goynev das abrias. It's gnevis das. If you're telling a person shalom l'mar and you have in mind for Hakadosh Baruch Hu, that means you're not really having in mind to tell to him. It's gnevis das. It's a problem, even for a guy, according to Tosfos. So he says, no, we're just saying how he's not koifel. He wasn't koifel. We're saying how they did it without being koifel, without doubling over. So it says v'shoylim b'shloimon. If we said that you're able to be mechazik them, for sure you could be shoyl b'shalom to ask how they're doing. We're talking about on the day of their holiday. Titania, the Avodah Zarah, it says in the Brayso, you don't go into a guy's house on the day of his holiday, to give him shalom. However, you give it to him softly with seriousness. So we're saying here, you're allowed to give him shalom even on the day of his holiday if you meet him in the shuk. We're sitting, and Gneva was passing by.
Yes.
What? One of them told his friend, let's get up in front of him to honor him because he's a Ben Torah. He's a Baal Machlekes. He caused suffering to Mar Ukva, who is Av Bezdin. So he's a Baal Machlekes, even if he's a Ben Torah, let's not honor him. We have this, Rashi's quoting Dav Zayin Amud Aleph. So it says here. It says we had an interesting Gemara. Shalach le Marukva le Rabbi Elazar. Marukva sent to Rabbi Elazar and he told him like this. They're causing me a lot of tsar and I could give them to the Malchus. What should I do? So he was masarted and he says, no, you shouldn't do that. We brought a pasuk. So then he said, they're causing me a lot of tsar and I can't handle it. He said, which means you should be quiet and daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he will do it. You go early and late to the Beis HaMedrash, and there could be kolam aleim. So they put Geneva on the koilard, and this was Geneva was causing him. Rashi says he was supposed to be killed. So that was the end of the story, and Rashi's quoting. So you see, he's a Baal Machlekes. I guess this was before they killed him, the Malchus. It's a pretty serious situation. He must have done some terrible things if Marukva was ad kedei kach. The situation was ad kedei kach. So the Gemara says like this.
We lost you.
What?
Oh, we lost you for a few seconds.
Oh, okay. So then Geneva came to them. He told them, Shalom Aleichem Malke, Shalom Aleichem Malke. He honored them. He was just Baal Machlekes with Marukva. Peace upon you, kings. Peace upon you, kings. That's what he said. He said it twice. Because Tayyid, you could say it twice. He said, what's your source that the Chum are called kings? With me, the kings are crowned, which is with Torah. It's the reference is Torah. How do you know that you say shalom twice to kings? He told him, says that there was a spirit that came upon Amosai, and he said like this. So he said shalom twice to David HaMelech, Amosai. Amrilei, and you're also Melech because you're Ben Torah. Amrilei, they told him, Litamar Midi. If you have something to eat, Amrlu, I guess there was a stop. So he told them, this is what Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav. You shouldn't taste anything until you give food to your behemoth. The person says, I'll give grass for your animals, and only then were you going to eat and be satisfied. That's the end of the parak.
Okay, that's what the vegetarians quote that phrase quite often about how the importance of animals and.
Oh, yeah, but the same Torah that says to feed animals first also says that you could eat them.
What? Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I hear you. There's definitely something to it. There's no question, because originally the other region wasn't allowed to eat meat. It was only Noach.
Yeah. And Rashi said something different. At least my understanding on the parsha was something about if you're satiated, you eat a lot, and you're satiated. That's when people can rebel. So there's a challenge. Remember reading that?
Yes.
Yeah. People only rebel when they're satiated. Rebel against Hashem.
Right.
So that's there's so many different interpretations of one verse.
Okay, let's go further. We're on the next page on Daf Samach Beis Amud Beis. We're by the beginning of the parak Shishi. Getting back into Gittin now. Everybody have it?
We're almost finished the parak.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we finished the parak. We're on the next page.
Did. Hadran Allah. I didn't say it. Hadran Allah and the Zaki.
Very good, yeah.
Okay.
Weiter. Somebody who says, receive this get from my wife. He tells a shliach, he tells a messenger, receive this get from my wife. Or I want you to bring this get from my wife. If he wants to change his mind and cancel the get before the get reaches his wife's hand, even if it's already in the hands of the shliach, he's allowed to. because it's shliach lahilach. It's a chayv. It's a bad thing for his wife to be divorced. So until it actually reaches her, when it reaches her hands, obviously she's divorced. But until it reaches her hands, the shliach is only a shliach lahilach to bring it. And the divorce only takes into effect when it reaches her hands. So he could always be mevatel it. He could always cancel it. Imrotza lachzor yachzor. I think that's what I read. Okay. However, if a woman said, accept the get from Mita Shliach, so it's a different story. Where's this? If you want to go back, you cannot go back. Because the woman made the shliach lekabbalah, it's a different story. Therefore, if the husband tells the shliach lekabbalah of the wife, he tells the shliach who's supposed to receive the get from the wife, I don't want you to receive it for her. I want you to be my shliach. So if he wants to, he could go back because he switched the shlichas from shliach lekabbalah for the wife to shliach le'alacha for himself. Even if she didn't use the lashon of kabbalah, but she said toil, so he can't go back. Similar to hiskabel. Toil is similar to receive it from you. Okay, so the Gemara analyzes Omer lei Rav Acha Rav Avio. Rav Acha, the son of Rav Avia, told the Rav Ashi. Told Rav Ashi. It's only if she didn't make the shliach a shliach lekabbalah, right? That's clear. But if she made a shliach lekabbalah, then he can't go back. That's obvious. We said it in the Mishnah. We said problem is when he uses the bal, he uses the lashon that he's not holding the shliach back. Problem is we have a machlokes on Daf Yudalit. We had a machlokes of hoylech is kischi or not. From this Mishnah, it's clear hoylech is kischi. Because the husband, the only reason why the shliach that he's sending, it's not automatically a get for the wife, is because it's a chayvu law. But if she made a shliach lekabbalah and he uses the lashon hoylech, it's fine. Says the Gemara, really, I'll tell you, hoylech is not kischi. The reason why the Mishnah says it in this way is because of the next case. We needed to teach her the din of hiskabel, that even if the husband said hiskabel, it's still eventually going to be a get when it reaches her hands. So you might think to say, who is not able to make a shliach lekabbalah b'chlal. He can't make a shliach to receive it. He can make a shliach to bring it. Even if it'll reach her hands, you might think it's not a get. He means to say receive it and bring it. But really, if the woman would say hiskabel Gittin, and he says hoylech, doesn't mean that he's giving it. If she just says hiskabel Gittin, so then obviously, and he gives it to her shliach, automatically she has a get. But if he said hoylech, then lav dafka, according to the shita, that it's not kischi, that it's not considered like being zoicha. Shanan, it says in the Mishnah, Isha Shomer hiskabel Gittin. If a woman said hiskabel Gittin, if he wants to go back, he can't go back. My love, maybe it doesn't matter if he left it as a shlich lekabbalah or if he said hoylech, he can't go back. Says the Gemara, lo kabbalah. It's only if he uses the lashon hiskabel, and she said hiskabel Gittin, only then it's going to work. But if he said hoylech, according to the shita that hoylech is lav kischi, he's holding back the shliach. Tashma coming here. If the Baal said, "Efshi shetakabalo elohoylech v'tenlo," if the husband said, "I don't want you to receive it for her, rather give it to her, go and give it to her," then he holds it back. Time adomar efshi. It's only if he said efshi. He used the words efshi. But if he didn't use the words efshi, it's impossible. We can see from here because it's only if it says Yefshi, Elo.
What does EFC mean?
It's impossible for me. I don't like the shlichus for that the wife made. I want to have my own shlich. So it's only if he says the words, it's impossible for me. But if he just said the word hoylech, it's kischi. It's as if he's giving her all the schuyas, all the rights that she needs. Says the Gemara Dilma behelach. Maybe in the Mishnah it's halach. Halach, everybody will agree is kischi. So then he needs to use the words yefshi. It's impossible. Obviously, he's saying it's impossible. Rather halach, he needs to use the words yefshi. But if he just said hoylech, that would hold him back. Okay, it's a little dochuk. It's a stronger. It fits better to say hoylech is kischi. Honestly. Now the Gemara gets into a new discussion. Pshito, it's obvious. Ish have a shliach lehiloch. A man can be a shliach lehiloch. He can be a shliach to bring the get. Shekein baal meilach get liish. He himself can bring a get to his wife. So obviously he can make a shliach to bring a get to his wife. V'isho have you shliach lekabbalah. A woman can make a shliach lekabbalah to receive it. Shekein isha mekabbalah is gittin miyad by because she herself could receive it. So obviously you can make a shliach to do what you can do. The question is, ish lekabbalah v'isha leiloch amai. Could a man be a shliach lekabbalah to receive for the woman? Could a woman be a shliach lehilocha to bring for the husband? What's the din? Tashma coming here. If a person says, receive this get from my wife or bring it to her, he can always go back because we said it's a chav, it's a bad thing for her. But if a woman said, receive a get from me, he can't go back because automatically the get happens the moment the shlich takes hold of it. My love, v'chad shlich. Probably we're talking about the same shliach that you could be a husband, a man or a woman. We can learn from here that what the same shliach could do both kabbalah or halacha. You can say the Mishnah is talking about two different shluchim. Toshma, coming here from the next part of the Mishnah. If the husband said, I don't want you to receive it for her, rather bring it for her, he could go back because he changed her shlichus, her shliach to be a shliach le'alacha. From being a shliach to receive for the woman, he changed it to be a shliach to bring for the husband. It's the same shliach. We can learn from here, the same shliach can be switched. We can learn from this. So the Gemara says, we can learn from this, each have a shlich lekabbalah, that a man can be a shlich lekabbalah. So we can say that that's what the Mishnah is talking about. Why? Because we see, we see a man, a father has a koyach, has the ability to receive a get for his daughter as a ketana. If he married her off as a ketana, he could also receive a get for his daughter as a ketana. The Torah says he could be makabel her kedushin and to be makabel her get. Because there's a hekesh, just like he could be makabel her kedushin, he could also receive her get. Question is, what about a woman? Can she bring the get for the husband to the wife? Because we don't find any case that a woman could bring a get, give a get. But of Mori Toshma, coming here, it says a woman who's not believed. There's 5 women who they have a chazaka that they hate this wife, and they're not allowed to say that she died, that the husband died, but they are allowed to bring the get. So what do we see over there? They're bringing the get. So it's a raya that a woman could also bring the get because it's a shlichus. So it's different that you don't have to have the koyach yourself to do it. I guess that's what the Gemara is saying. So the Gemara says, Ravashi says like this. From the end of the Mishnah, we could also learn the Ketani Seifo, the next Mishnah. I'll see it soon. No, sorry, the Mishnah. The Mishnah, sorry, by Daf Chav Gimel, sorry. A woman herself can bring her own get. She just has to say, we established it's obviously not a shlich lekabbalah, it's a shlich leilocha. Otherwise, why would she have to say it? Rather, it's a shlich the halacha that she was bringing it for her husband in front of Bezdin from Chutzlar to Eretz Yisrael, she has to say b'fanei nechtam. Shema mino, we learn that a woman could be a shliach even lahalacha to bring it. Okay, we're up to the 2 dots. I think we'll stop here in the Bavli for today. We're in the bottom of Samach Beis Amud Beis of 62b. And we'll turn to the Yerushalmi. Okay, in the Yerushalmi, we're on Daf Chof Zayin Omer Aleph. Rab Chama Bar Ukva B'Shem Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina. That's basically where we stop. And in the old Yerushalmi, it's Chof Ches Amud Beis 28b. Rav Chama is 12 lines on the bottom of the page.
Sorry, David, in the Yerushalmi is Chav Zayin Amud Aleph.
Yeah, 12 lines on the bottom. Rav Chama.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. You guys have it, David Baruch?
I think so.
Okay, great. Rav Chama Baruch V'Shem Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina. Rav Chama Baruch said in the name of Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina, Nisu abones amanin yizaynis behem. If the daughters got married and they took the Easter Nechas and they took their dowry, really the almana is supposed to supersede them. The mezainis almana, the food of the almana, is supposed to supersede them. So even if they brought it into the marriage, it's not really considered to be meshubad. It's not really considered to be sold property, and the almana is allowed to take from it. That's a pshat. Rabbi Kedidei, Rav Yehuda Kedidei, Rabbi, and was a nechet. Rabbi was his nechet, and Rav Yehuda was his nechet. Dachte the Rabbi Yosef B'Chanina b'Shem Rabbi Yosi Karav Chagi. He was his grandson. Rabbi was the grandson of Rabbi Yosi, and Rabbi Yehuda was the grandson of the sister of Rabbi Yosef B'Chanina. So they said in the name of Rabbi Yosef B'Chanina, Bar Rab Chagi, some people switch it to Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina. Even if they pass away, even if the daughters pass away, we don't say the husband is considered a lekeach. The almana could take from it. Fragdi Gemara, a very interesting question. Bnei Banim Mahin. What about grandchildren? We're talking about the Isur Nechas. So when it comes to their brothers, they take without a shavua. They take from the Beinanis. Question is, what about the grandchildren? Do they have to have a shavua? Do they have to have an oath when they take it? There's different. Machlek is actually what the pshat in this Gemara is. According to the Korban Eidah, the question of Bnei Banim is an entirely different question. A person has to feed his children when they're ketanim. Do you have an obligation to feed your grandchildren when they're ketanim over anyone else? That's the question, according to the Korban Eidah. According to the Pnei Moshe, the shaila is when the girls are taking their Easter, their 10%, do they take it with a shvuah or without a shvuah? It's very interesting how different the pshat is. I mean, the Pnei Moshe makes more sense because it's like related to what we were talking about before. Rav Mana says they're considered just like the sons. And Rabbi Yossi says they're not. They wanted to say, just like Bnei Banim are like Banim Linyan Yerusha. Oh, it's wet. So too here. Just dry. Omer loin Rabbi Yosef bar Abayim bnei banim kafta leim Yerushas Torah. Bnei banim is different. She's a balas chayv of the banim, of the sons. The moment the Yerusha comes, she automatically has a chalois. She's owed her 10%. Mashenkin bnei banim, it's already Yerushas Torah, so she's gonna have to take it with a shavua. Okay, I guess we'll stick with Pnei Moshe's pshat. Tam and Tanina, and it was taught. We're dealing with the story of Meishav Aveda. Someone who's returning a lost object doesn't have to make a shvu, he doesn't have to make an oath, because he is to tikkun olam, so that people won't be scared to return lost items. So now we're getting into different cases. It was taught Mona la'aba biyadech. $100 of my father, 100 dinner my father in your hands. Ainly biyodi el chamishim dinrim. No, I only have ainly biyodi el chamishim dinrim. I only have 50. Potter mipnei shuka meishav aveda. We just turned the page 12 Zayin number base, so 27b. He's potter because he's meishav aveda. He's returning a lost item. Because the malva's not chai, he could have been kai for everything. Normally we say moed b'mikzas is chayav because he's scared. He wants to be moed the whole thing. He's just ishtamut ishtamit. We said this in the Bavli. He just is trying to push it off, so he's only being made in 50%. So therefore, he's gonna have to make a shvur. Because a chazaka shira the meiz pana b'fnei bal chayv. A person doesn't have the chutzpah to be meiz in front of his bal chayv. Here is different. Here is not the bal chayv; it's the son. So of course, if he wanted to be kofer, he would have been kofer from the whole thing. He has a migo. He could have been kofer for the whole thing. By the bal chayv himself, there is no migo. He doesn't have a migo. He's too embarrassed to be kofer from the whole thing. Here he could have. And the fact that he wasn't, he's considered Kameshav Aveda, so he's potter from a shvuah if he says, I only owe you 50. Fine. Amar Rabbi Lazar says, Tkana tiknu by Kedersha tiknu b'mitzia. He has a takana just like by Shabbos Aveda. The TininAmitzah Mitzia Leisham they took an oil. So too in this case, he also doesn't have to make an oath because he's being more than 50%. So it's interesting. According to the way he's saying it, it does make sense. He would be chayiv shavu if not for the tikkun. The way we explained it, why? I'm not sure. The way we explained it, as amigo, so why do you even need a takana? Maybe the svara of chazak and the maze would apply theoretically even to the son, not as much. I don't know. They decided that because of tikkun oilam, they're going to allow. I don't know. The Mishnah is talking about if he says you found 2 oxen. Matzasa, and he says, I only found 1. You don't have to make a shavua. Basically, the guy is telling you that I had 2 oxen. You must have found 2 oxen. So the son says it's not true. I only had 1 ox. But if he says, I found the 2 oxen and I returned them, but if he said, in other words, they were both minded that there was 2 oxen. The question was how many he returned. So then he has to make the shavua. That's a different story. The tikkun oilam was only if he only admits to finding 1. But if he admits to finding both of them, automatically he's going to have to make a shavua. And he's moed that he claims he returned both of them. He's going to have to make a shavua. So in such a case, he would have to make shavua hesses. Not a shavua. It's not moed b'mikzas. He's claiming that he returned both of them. Maybe the tikkun oilam is even to be poiter from shavua hesses. Because even if he's kofer bakril, he would have to make a shavua hesses, which is not moed b'mikzas. He would have to make a hesses. Tikkun oilam is he doesn't even have to make a hesses, which is like a lower level shavua. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to hold a sefer Torah. Okay. Okay. Rapados b'shem Rabbi Yochanan. Wait. 1 second. Sorry. Wait. You want to go play? Rapados b'shem Rabbi Yochanan, but zeh tiknu. When they're arguing about the chazorah, then there is a takana that he's not going to have to make a shvuah. They're arguing about how many returned. You're not going to have to make a shvuah, says Rapadas in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. If you mamish, the machlekes is what you found. Midaraisa, you don't have to make a shvuah. You might think that if he told him you found 2 oxen, he says I only found 1. You might think he's chayiv. there's no tinus body. So because there's no tinus body, you're potter. Oh shoot! 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, let's quickly finish the end of the Mishnah. He has a tinus body. He for sure saw. I was standing on my roof. I saw you with 2 oxen. But he says, I only had 1. The guy mamish has tinus bodies for sure. Then there's no takana. I was with my father when he was dying, and he said you owed him $100, and you admitted it. Wow, what a chutzpah! And then he says I only admitted to 50. Then there's no takana. Then there's for sure going to be a shavua. Okay, we're up to the Mishnah. I guess we'll try to do a Mishnah day, and hopefully we'll catch up sooner or later.